What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the title of the video, we're going to another new band on the channel. Now, I don't know if this is an EP or an album. It's like 23 minutes long, but it's officially stated on Spotify as an album, so not entirely sure. It's a nice bite-sized piece of work. It is the first time I've ever checked out this band on the channel. The album, or EP, whatever you want to call it, is called Exuviae. I did actually look up how to pronounce that because I was kind of calling it Exuviae, but it's Exuviae apparently. And I believe it's like the skin that's shed by an insect is actually what it technically means. And when I look at the album artwork, that kind of mirrors that to a certain extent. I can't really tell what's going on. There's a lot of like weird arty shit going on there. So yeah, we won't look too deep into that because who knows if I'm even going to like the music. This was a band that I've been hearing about for the past, I'd say maybe 3 months or so. I think ever since they would have released this, because I can see this is released in 2022, so maybe a little bit more than 3 months. But they have developed a bit of a cult following within my Patreon, and to be honest, because they've only got like 100,000 monthly listeners, they've been in the polls for the last while and they've gotten a good few votes, and I always see comments coming through like, you've got to check out Hive Exuviae. But because, you know, just naturally there's bigger bands on some of the core polls, they have not been pulling through. So the new album skip tier that I have implemented into Patreon, which you guys can avail of as well, was used up by my man Brandon Ralphs, who took one for the team and said, guys, I'm going to use the album skip tier, and now we're here. So guys, if you would like to make use of that tier as well, there's one slot available as we speak. It's probably going to sell out maybe by the time this video goes live, but if not, have a look. Links in the description to Patreon. That is where you're getting the full video. So you guys can thank my man Brandon Ralphs for suggesting this and, you know, paying for the Patreon tier to skip and get me to do this album. So guys, we're going to check this one out. Again, not really sure what to think or know of these guys. I don't really know other than they've gotten quite the fan base within my Patreon. So yeah, we'll just jump in. I won't look too deep into the makeup of the band or, you know, what their sound is overall. I believe it's probably going to be heavy based on the fact that the title is called Exuviae and the artwork is generally a good indicator if it's going to be heavy or not. But guys, drop a like in this video if you haven't already. Make sure you're subbed to the channel. If you want to see more Hive, if you've got any, you know, any other projects, then let me know in the comments, I guess, and let's jump into it.
Hello, please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, this is Doctor. Just calling Mr. Medina to make sure he's okay. I have not seen him in at least 3 weeks. He's not been coming to any sessions or giving me any phone calls. I just want to make sure everything's okay. I trust he is making the best decision at that moment, so if you can call me back or have him call me back, that'd be great. I don't fucking trust me!
That tone is fucking gritty. Lyrics aren't synced, so I'm gonna have to scroll. Okay, it's only right now I'm actually kind of getting into the swing of things because that was obviously intense vocal delivery, intense lyrics, and the overall production is very gritty. That guitar is very, very dense. So it was only just at this moment here where I actually started to find some kind of a rhythm. Trying to like, going from a band, like it's different when you've heard a band before and you're jumping into a new album or, you know, one of their older albums, but I'm already familiar with their sound. It's a lot easier to kind of find your feet straight away, but when you're jumping in blind to a band, it's kind of like you're trying to find the vibe and, you know, you don't want to overcommit to like headbanging or anything like that because you don't really know what's going to come next. So that is definitely the feeding out process that you've just witnessed. I'm kind of like, what is going on? Doesn't help that Spotify, again, hasn't synced the lyrics, which is very annoying because I have to like manually try and figure out what's going on. So I'm like paying attention to where the lyrics lie as opposed to just listening to the music and actually reading and focusing on what it's saying. So I might just bring it back slightly. Do you know, I'm actually just going to start again because that was a bit of a me trying to catch up with everything that was going on. It was like an overload of endorphins, or a sensory overload. So let's start again and treat it as if we haven't just heard that, and we'll figure it all out. Now, again, you can hear it's like this like mental anguish kind of vibe going on. So he's like, even in the middle of some of the lyrics there, he's saying, then I fall. No, and then he says something like, yeah, then I fuck. So you can almost like, he's trying to like construct a sentence of how he feels, and then he's like, fuck no. And it's just, you can feel the like the mental anguish that he seems to be going through. But it also kind of relates to the overall theme with the Exuviae, and then the actual like, so the insect like shedding its skin, I guess. So it's like almost this coming out thing. A lot. It's a lot. It's a lot so far. So let's try and not overanalyze.
Please leave a message.
So this is the vibe I get, is that like,
Hi, this is Doctor.
so there's a doctor calling for someone, and he's basically saying, is this person okay? So I'm guessing maybe like a doctor for his mental health. I don't know, I'm reaching a little bit so far, but this is the vibe I'm getting, where he's like, I haven't heard from this guy, he's a bit of a fucking head case, is he okay? And then you're getting, you know, him.
Just calling to Mr. Medina to make sure he's okay. I have not seen him in at least 3 weeks. He's not been coming to any sessions or giving me any phone calls. I just want to make sure everything's okay. I trust he is making the best decision at the moment.
Even he doesn't believe that. I trust he's making the best decisions. Yeah, like, come on. It's about drug abuse, I'm guessing. Yeah, bringing this back has definitely helped me get into this more. First one, I was like, what is going on? Interesting guitar work. I like how they opted to use the guitar dissonance to almost like create an alarm sound, as opposed to like using a post-production alarm sound. Feels more like thought out, as opposed to just using post-production to make that alarm sound. Yeah, that gave me like mad Escape from a Mental Asylum vibes off that, especially with the alarm. It's almost as if the alarms are going off that this fucking maniac has left this mental asylum, or, you know, this hospital for someone who's mentally unwell, and that's where you get the intro with the doctor ringing, I'm sure he's okay, and then the intro lyrics are like, I don't even trust myself. Okay, no lyrics for this one, so let's try and listen in. let me go back. This project is a lot so far, but it definitely doesn't help that I don't have lyrics for this. So what I'm going to do is let me quickly rearrange the setup and just get some lyrics on screen so everyone at home can follow along, and we'll figure it out together. Okay, so leave me a few minutes and I'll be back and we'll have some lyrics, because I don't want to miss out on what's going on, because it's such a short project. I want to give it the respect it deserves. And yeah, it sounds like it's following the storyline. I'm kind of invested now because it was a cool intro, so I want to figure out what's going on. So give me 2 seconds and we'll figure it out. Okay, so let's go back. As you can see, I've been searching up here, trying to figure out what subjugated means, and it means bring under domination or control, especially by conquest. So he's an individual that is being under control. Bring under domination or, yeah, so an individual who is under control or oppressed, I guess. How was I ever supposed to hear that without lyrics? Okay, where are these guys from? They're from Chicago. Arabic? Yeah, maybe we'll just bail on that one. If anyone has a direct translation, let me know, or just a general... Whoa! Okay, right. That track was a lot, especially without the lyrics on Spotify. It never helps my situation because it's a little bit more thinking I have to do. So let me just switch back to here. Okay, so we now have the lyrics back in the way they should be. Spotify, please. I don't know if that's Spotify or the band that just hasn't added it, but either way, someone should be held responsible for not doing that because it's very annoying for me. Oh, poor me. I need to fucking, yeah. I need to make videos. I need the lyrics synced, guys. Come on. Anyway, so that was a lot. I'm a little bit fed up with bands and the whole like topic of this world is so fucked up, draw the mark on my head, fucking fill it with lead, generations of genocide, the cycles of hate, driven by madness, divided by race, never does the pain subside, entire nation was built to subjugate, dominate, indoctrinate, procreate, product of hate. Like, I get it. It's metal music can be an outlet for bands to speak their mind, and you know, I'm guessing it's coming from a place of you know, it's not just saying it for the sake of it. It's a funnel of their energy that they're feeding, directed into a positive manner. Granted, it's very aggressive, but it's a positive outlet where they're putting art into the world to, you know, paint their frustrations and share with the worlds that may feel the same way. But it is so overdone in a lot of these metal subgenres. I'm seeing so many different bands. Some are doing it incredibly. And this is not like a stab at these guys. It's literally just so overdone. I would love to see bands take some different perspectives on the world, or at least just try different topics. I know there is bands that do it, but a lot of bands speak about the the powers that be, and you know what I'm trying to say, like the stand up, fuck the system, that kind of vibe. I know they're not necessarily saying that, but they're touching on in and around the same topic, and it can get a little bit stale. So I'd like to see bands, because it's such an easy sell, because there's so many people that are just like really angry teenagers that are craving this kind of music. So it's one of those, it's kind of like a bit of a cop-out to a certain extent, because it's like, oh, what will people agree with, or what will people enjoy, or what has proven to sell, or what has been proven to work in metal music, because naturally it's an angry sound, especially these guys. So it's a bit of a like almost a cop-out to just do it again, but again, that's very harsh. It sounds good. First track was definitely better for me. Second track was a bit chaotic. It didn't feel as structured as the first track. So we'll go on to Her now. Again, I have to manually go through these lyrics, but it's better than having to switch the screens to go up on Spotify. So we're making some progress. Again, the smaller bands are generally quite hard to find lyrics that are synced properly. But yeah. Again, herds, sheep, all that kind of shit, it's just kind of like, alright! Okay, let's start with the positives. I really think the overall sound from an instrumental standpoint is almost like a soul / deathcore groove. So basically, it's like the deathcore side of things that I like, the groovier side. There's some groovier moments in it, and the overall production and feel of it, some of the guitar moments have like a soul influence as well. So it's kind of like a blend of the two, harsher side of metal sounds coming together that I really like. Now, in saying that, that generally comes with some harsher vocals, and the vocal delivery on this, I've got to say, not the biggest fan of. I like harsher vocals, but I think when they get too harsh where you actually have to like have lyrics in front of you to understand what's going on, it almost defeats the purpose of having lyrics in the first place, because it's kind of like, right, it's just noise at that point. I'd nearly prefer it to just be an instrumental album at that point. That's just my take. There's some moments in it where a little bit easier to hear, but like when they get into the really like gritty death metal, deathcore sounding vocals, it gets a bit much. The highs are a little bit easier to hear, but when it gets really low, it's kind of like, it loses me a bit. So that's the honest thoughts. I do feel like the production is quite unique in the sense that it has some of those kind of like traditional deathcore sounds, especially in the grooves. I really like it. But then it also has like the overall feel and ambience of it feels like a Saul project. So it's kind of like that, you know, double-edged feel that I do enjoy both of. But I would say if anything was going to let them down right now, it's the vocal side of things is throwing me a bit. Not a bad track. And we're back to here, for fuck's sake. Let me just pull this up before we get into it. Hive. Just in case there's anything of real dense subject matter that would be interesting to read about and discuss. Hive Contempt lyrics. Let's pull this up real quick. At least we actually have the lyrics on Genius. Okay, right, yeah. This looks like it could be some interesting subject matter. So let's... Bit of a cheesy line there. There's that kind of like fall feel. Very Buster Out of Home production vibes to that. Not bad. Not a bad track. Not a bad track. Is it anything that I haven't heard before? Not really. Again, it feels like a Thal attempt with some deathcore vocals. Attempt sounds harsh. It's good, but it's nothing I haven't heard before. Sounds like we're going to get like a bit of an interlude before the outro, I'm guessing. I don't know if we're going to have any lyrics in this. Doesn't feel like it's going to be one of those. Oh my god. Yes, I do need to turn off Discord alerts. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the sound that Valjarta has spawned years later. So it is kind of like a Thal band, I guess. It's like a small Thal EP. Well, not like overly Thal, if that makes sense. It's got like Thal, a lot of Thal influence. But I appreciate how they're not just completely taking the blueprint that Valjarta, Humanity's Last Breath, all those bands have like kind of made. Is that it? Or have we got one more? I believe this is the more popular track of the album. Let's see what it's all about. Okay, I'm gonna pause it real quick and I'll start again, but this, I don't like this vocal delivery because it's just like, you're not actually, I get it, he is saying the words, but it's like, come on, man. I can't fucking hear what you're saying. Like, let's always assume that I'm not gonna have the lyrics up in front of me when I'm listening to your music. If you're trying to get a message across, which these guys evidently are, how is the message gonna hit hard when I can't fucking hear it? I get there's a time and place for like these moments, but the intro to the track is Eyes Are Glowing, and this is me like, let's hear it, if we can hear what he's saying here. Read the lyrics and listen to what he's saying. This is kind of like the extent of the lows, or I guess this is maybe a mid. I'm not a vocalist, so I don't really know. I just know what I like, the sound overall. The start of that, I'm going to say horrific. I fucking hate that sound. It's just like, it's just too much. It's too much. Can we just stop trying to be as low as possible? I get it. It can like set up certain, you know, feelings going into an album. It can set a certain tone or a mood in an album. This one just feels redundant. It's just gone over my head. It only really comes in when I can actually hear what he's saying. Like, there is absolutely no way anyone's going to convince me that he said eyes are glowing as the intro vocal to that. Like, let's just, for the sake of commentary, let's just... That's not eyes are glowing. No one can convince me that they're the correct lyrics, even though that's exactly what Spotify's saying. Maybe I'm being overcritical, I'm sorry, but it's just I like to pick at certain things because, like... Very clear, I like it. Why did that sound like Nick Nocturnal? Oh, now this is different. This is taking that Thal sound and putting their own spin on it, which I fucking appreciate. felt like a Dragon Force old school riff mixed in with this new production and overall soul sound. Yeah, I'll playlist that one. That is playlist. Again, intro. Miss me with the intro. But instrumentally, and when he just moved away from the really low vocals. Okay, let me get the, just because we've been doing it for every track, let me just bring it back real quick and get the lyrics up for this one, because I believe this is probably the last track. Let me just quickly get it up for you folks. Hope you're all doing well. I'm probably not even going to edit this out, so just hope you're all having a good day. Hope you're all enjoying the video. Hope you're still here. If you are still here, please do leave a like in the video. It'd be much appreciated. But we now have the lyrics up on screen, so let's quickly move over. You're getting like an inkling of cleans. Is that what I'm hearing? Heavy lyrics, Jesus. Yeah, humanity's last breath, self-titled feels to this. Early Slipknot vibes. No idea where we are in the lyrics. Where are we? Feels like the first like prominent chorus. Very Slipknot. Just the vocalist cadence. Oh! I have no idea where the lyrics are. Oh my god, that was a fucking statement outro. Anyway, we're still going here. What's going on? I don't want to pause because it's flowing nicely here. Oh, yeah. What's this one called? Phobos. Oh, okay. Hey, we got a few different sounds going here. That goes your chug. The guitar work is phenomenal. I gotta give it to them. Right on cue. I'm just gonna leave it there for a moment. I'm just reading the lyrics here myself. It looks fucking ugly on the screen. Oh, I like that. Oh, back into that groove. That is sick. This is something, it feels like Valdjarta, a few different bands mixed together, but then they also have some like different elements thrown in. So they are making it their own. I appreciate it. As a like old school riff down or solo down. I think that's the ending. This is something like, this feels a lot longer than, I suppose I paused it a few times, so it is naturally going to be a bit longer. Yeah, it's a pity that I don't have the lyrics for all of them. It would have been nice to have them linked with Spotify, but that's the nature of the game with the smaller bands. Not so much small, but you know. Yeah, okay, so that is it. Lord of the Upside Down. What a fucking track as well from Spy. So that was Hive's Exuviae, and yeah, I think I kind of, a lot of the time I don't really need to wrap up when I've made my thoughts very clear throughout the video with the actual reaction in and of itself. Again, I feel like the core of this band, I don't know how long these have been going for, but if I was like literally just from first listen from what I'm hearing, it sounds like they've taken a lot of the influence from Valdjarta and Humanity's Last Breath, taking the foundations of these bands that have been so influential in the modern metal space, especially over the last kind of 2 or 3 years, and they've definitely put their own unique spin on it. The main takeaways I have from it is that the vocal delivery, I suppose this is like a kind of a negative aspect, and I will get into the positives. The vocal delivery on some of the moments, again, I don't really need to go into it much because I've already spoken about it throughout the video. The vocal delivery, I feel like, and I've always been the way, it's not just this band, I'm not just picking on this band, it's just me, my own personal preference. I know some people like the more extreme, and maybe some time down the line I will get into the more extreme lyrics, because there would have been a stage where I would have fucking hated this full stop. Like even the instrumentals, like not even that long ago, like maybe a year ago, I would have really not fucked with this at all. It'd be too heavy, too extreme. So naturally over time your taste does change. So that's understandable. I fully understand that. Like I may enjoy this at some point. So take everything I say now with a grain of salt. The vocalist obviously very talented. He has some cool moments. He has some versatility as well. He had the mids, the really lows, which I am not the biggest fan of. We've already spoken about that. I'm not going to keep touching on it. Then he had some kind of clean moments in the last 2 tracks where it gave a bit of a different inkling into what he is capable of, so that was interesting. Instrumentally incredible, very fucking good. I mean, I was always going to love the instrumental being Thal, but it only really got more of a Thal feel kind of about maybe like 10 minutes in. The first 2 or 3 tracks had like a more atmospheric feel that felt very Thal, but the actual guitar playing didn't feel that Thal-y. There was kind of like an almost atmosphere in the background that was lifting the entire mix up, that gave the impression that it was like a deathcore EP with some Thal influence. But as it went on, it kind of became more open pockets of space. The vocals started to remind me a little bit more of the cadence of Valdjarta as a vocalist, and then some of the instrumentals did start to remind me of the breakdowns and that kind of thing, and the climactic moments that Humanity's Last Breath have. Not to mention the Buster Oudahome-esque production that led into some of the climactic moments, the kind of stuttery production, which I've always kind of spoken about. We only spoke about that in the latest Cat's Claw Human Fission EP, where I discussed Buster's production and where it's very evident, because I've heard, you know, Humanity's Last Breath, I've heard the Valdjarta projects, and you can just hear the remastered Valdjarta projects that has Buster's trademark all over it. So it's very obvious when it's something that has been influenced by him. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but it just feels like too specific and too similar to Voljarta and Humanity's Last Breath to have not taken massive influence. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. These bands are absolutely fantastic, so it's not like, oh, well, why would they take influence? It's not like that at all. It's just me stating the obvious that it is clearly being taken some influence down the line, whether it be skewed, because I know Voljarta and Humanity's Last Breath, they're not exactly new bands anymore. Maybe it's this band hearing in other bands that Voljarta maybe have influence. Maybe it's not coming as a direct influence, but I would imagine it is. So yeah, guys, overall, if I was to rate this EP, or album we'll call it, I will give this a... Considering how many tracks did we actually like, let's have a quick look and just see how many tracks we added to the playlist. I believe it was only one, which was the False Hydra, which, you know, based on the view count, is by far their most viewed track. So I believe that's probably a fair enough assessment that the only track I added to the playlist from this was the False Hydra. Had some cool moments in it. The really unique Saul sound with the, I believe this is the one with the solo that almost reminded me of Dragon Force, I think is what I said. That old school, like Through the Fire and Flames sounding riff with the Saul mashed into it. So that was like a unique spin, and I always appreciate it. And I'm being a bit of a critic by saying like, oh, it has to be unique every time. It doesn't, but I do, like, I hear so much music. I hear like new albums daily, and, you know, naturally I'm going to kind of want something a little bit, you know, new. I know not every day there's going to be a new band that like completely recreates the sound, so that's to be, you know, take it with a pinch of salt. But it is nice when you hear like different moments in tracks that are like, oh, I've never actually heard something like this, you know, so that's a cool spin. So everything else, not bad. I liked the intro. I liked how it kind of painted a picture, but to be honest, I lost the story a bit after. It felt like it was going to follow this one particular character. Maybe it did, but it felt like it took on more of a global scale thing like Architects do. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the video. My rating overall in this one, I think, is going to fall at like a 7. Or maybe like a 6.8 or 9. Again, opinions change over time. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. Let me know. That is all from me. Thank you so much for watching the video. Obviously, I want to give a big shout out to my man, Brandon Ralphs, who was the one who actually requested this through the Patreon album skip tier. So if you guys do want to get involved on Patreon, you can avail of that service. Links in the description, guys. Patreon.com/DrewFortune. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sonny. Look after yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.